Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you my January plan with me and my quarterly setup. For this month in the beginning of the year, I decided to go with a little disco ball theme and using fun metallic glitter pens. So let's get started. To make this easier for myself, I decided to use my Cricut to trace out this clip art of a disco ball with sparkles that I found on Pinterest. You'll see my Cricut, my ancient Cricut here, drawing it all out for me. First I tested it on some white paper and then I did it on the craft paper that I showed you a few minutes ago. You'll see I tested out how the metallic markers look. I did some pen swatches both on the white and the craft paper. I also tried to see if acrylograph pens would work. They didn't really show up well, so I just stuck with my gel pen. So I have my silver, gold, and white Jelly Roll Sakura pens, this really old purple gel pen that I have, and then this Pentel rose gold color. I used a light gray fine liner to trace it out just so the lines wouldn't be really dark or prominent after I went ahead and filled in the squares with the respective gel pens. I decided to go with every other square being a metallic color, so it alternated each row with silver and gold. This video is coming out a little later, obviously, since it's the second weekend of January, but I've been working on rearranging my office and just taking some time off at the end of the year with work and everything, and just wanted to chill out, but really excited to bring more videos and content this year around bullet journaling. You'll see now that I'm going in with my gold pen. I'm alternating a little bit just so my pen doesn't die out and I don't smear the page. I also made sure to mark which squares I was going to color, because if I didn't, I would totally color the wrong box and then the pattern would be off. Again, it's not perfect when I do it, but I wanted to have some attempt at having a pattern. Then I went in with that rose gold bronze gel pen as well. The original plan was to alternate the other squares between the rose gold and the purple gel pen, but you'll see when I start using the purple gel pen, it runs out. It's a really old pen. My sister just gave it to me as we had been cleaning out stationery for a while, but I thought I'd be able to at least make it through this page, especially since I tested it on that white paper. I think I used up all the ink in that test, so I filled out like barely one square, and so I just decided to stick with just using the rose gold since that was my only option, really. I also used the Cricut to trace this out because I knew this would be really annoying to hand draw myself with, this is obviously like supposed to be a sphere. The squares are wrapping around the globe or the ball, and I just didn't want to do that myself, and since I have a machine that can do it, or rather it's my sister's, I figured why not make it easier for myself and save myself some headache and time and frustration. And I'm actually really glad I ended up doing that. For the big sparkles, I'm taking the white gel pen and filling it in. I just thought it'd be a really nice way for the sparkles to stand out. And I also like that the light gray pen that I used for tracing out the outline isn't too harsh. It looks really nice, I think, with the other gel pens. So you'll see I'm halfway through and you can see the different metallics shining, and I think it's just really fun and it looks cool with the disco ball since that is shiny. I finished coloring this off camera just so this whole video wouldn't be like 20 minutes of me coloring squares, and I think it turned out really good. I love how much the white pops and all the boxes look nice and shiny with the metallic pens, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. Going back into my journal, I'll be pasting in the craft paper on the right side, and the left side will have my calendar. And I wanted to make sure to cut the corners so it had a rounded edge like the journal and look more finished. I also could not find my corner round cutter that I also inherited from my sister until like way later in this video, so I just did it by hand with my scissors and it actually turned out fine. So it's not like you need one, I just happen to have one, but you don't have to like spend extra money on it. One side is also perforated, you might be able to tell in the video because it comes from the Archer and Olive Neapolitan notepad, which comes with white, black, and craft paper. Unfortunately, they don't sell it anymore and they didn't bring it back during that Black Friday sale where they brought a bunch of old favorites, so I really hope at some point they bring it back. They have like different versions, but it doesn't have those three colors. Next, I took my trusty alphabet stamps that I think every bullet journaler has at this point because it's on Amazon and you can find it like cheaper on like Journals Day or like those types of stationery sites as well. I took two Tombow dual brush pens, one's in like a dark pink, almost like I think the color itself is described as like wine, so like a wine color and a dark purple, and I'm going to be using that as my ink and alternating between the letters, so it's purple, pink, purple, pink. So far I haven't had issues when I've been using the markers for different colors. They are water-based also, so it should be pretty easy to wash off. I've seen other folks use paint pens as well and they've had success. I personally don't mind too much if I mess up these stamps a little bit just because they were cheap, but generally I've had success so far. And that's pretty much it for the cover page. I feel like the drawing itself is like the statement and it doesn't really need anything extra. So I'm moving on to my calendar spread, and I'm keeping the horizontal calendars because I like that they can fit on one page and I can have decent sized squares so I can actually fill it out, because I don't have tiny handwriting even though I can write small, so having tiny boxes personally does not work for me. I also realized I accidentally added that last square for Saturday because January ends on Friday, so I just added a 1 for February 1st. And I use these stickers that I have from Notebook Therapy from the Light Academia set, I think. Since they had days of the week on them, I thought it'd be perfect. It matched with this color scheme. So I went ahead and did that, added a couple pieces of different washi tapes, and that was pretty much it for the calendar. Moving on, this is going to be my quarterly goals planning spread, and you'll see when I'm trying to paperclip the page, I don't even know how it like dropped from my hand and it flew away. There's actually a bunch of these that it happened during this setup. I cut out most of them because since this video is already pretty long. I'm going to start off by decorating these spreads with these metallic shiny washi tapes that I have. I think they're from Daiso, but I mean multiple businesses sell metallic-y tapes, so it's like a nice shiny foil. So this spread is going to be my Q1 or quarter one goals planning. As I mentioned, and as I did last year, my plan with me's have only been at the beginning of each quarter. One, to make it easier for me so I didn't have to record a plan with me every month and didn't feel that pressure but also because I wanted to explore kind of changing up my bullet journal, making it a little more low effort for me by having some of these spreads at a quarterly level rather than a monthly level. And in trying to move forward with my goals, I wanted to focus on a few of them each quarter so I could continue to make progress and also check in on that progress at the end of the quarter to see where I'm at, what I've been doing, what I've decided to deprioritize, because sometimes things come up or you just realize like you don't want to do that anymore, and that's totally fine. You can check out some of my plan with me's from last year to kind of see what that looks like, since I would do a check-in and then a recap for the new goals. For my header, since I have a bunch of scrap paper still, I just decided to use some of the black paper and then use that as kind of the background for the letters that I'm going to stamp for the header. So I'll layer the white paper on top of the black and then paste it in the journal. It looked okay, it didn't look exactly how I imagined it, but I decided to just move forward with it. You'll see I'm calling this quarter 1 goal planning, and then I'll paste it onto the black paper. I decided to dedicate one whole spread to quarterly planning, whereas previously I would do it on a 2-page spread with my habits and other quarterly items that I wanted to take care of. But I feel like I needed more space because, again, I mentioned earlier that I do not write very small. I think I write like a normal size. Even with the fine liner, I do not write that small, so I just need more space. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't like squishing everything in like I tend to do, because I want to make like smaller boxes, but I need to remember that I write more than that. Originally, I wasn't going to add boxes here because I just wanted to leave it freeform so I had enough space, but I decided to make 3 big boxes just so you could kind of see how the page would be structured and to kind of give me an idea of also having a limit on how much I write. Watch, I'm going to write like 3 sentences and these boxes are going to be so empty now. And I used a light beige and a very light gray Tombow marker here for these headers, just so I had a really light color so it'd be easy to write on top of. And then in that colored in part, I'll write the actual goal, and below that I'll write like the actions or the steps that I need to take to accomplish that goal. So like this quarter, I definitely want to set better habits for like the morning and night. Being consistent with walking. Consistency is probably like the theme of this year. It's on my vision board that I did do in this bullet journal. I might put it up as a short at some point. But yeah, just trying to get into the groove of things, updating my portfolio, doing some like professional work planning, things like that. And then I used this stencil that I got from Archer and Olive through the advent calendar a couple years ago, just to add some sparkles and some more washi tape to decorate the page. That's pretty much it. It's going to be text heavy, so I didn't want to add too much to the page. And then flipping the page, we're now on more quarterly planning. So there's a few different sections on this double page spread. I'm starting out with the books I read section. I started doing this halfway through last year and I was doing it on a monthly basis, but there's some weeks, actually like the last couple months, I wasn't really reading. I was in a slump. So I felt like tracking this at the quarterly level is more realistic, because some months you read a lot, some months you don't. I didn't want to have a sad blank space in a monthly setup every month, so I feel like quarterly will be better because I think I'll at least read something in 3 months. So the top half is books I read, and I made sure to leave space for the book covers. I'm going to print them out, and then I have a star rating sticker that I can fill in. And then the bottom half are my reading stats for Q1. I'm leaving it a little blank and just noting down what stats I want to track, like pages read, average rating. And since I thought it'd be fun to track this at a quarterly level instead of only annually, I actually need to go ahead and fill out my 2024 reading stats spread, which will be a future video, and set up my 2025 reading spread for the new year. So that'll be up in a couple weeks, either end of January or sometime in February, depending on how I schedule these videos out. And that's pretty much it. Just decorated with some more washi tape, with some of that metallic and my grid ones. I have a bunch of book stickers, so I was trying to include those into a reading book type of spread. Going over to the right side, the top half will be my habit trackers. I really like setting these up at a quarterly basis versus doing it every month. It's really nice because you only have to do it every 3 months and they're just ready to go so you can continue to track. And I attempted to decorate like with some kind of checkered pattern with the metallic gel pens. It didn't work out perfectly, but I thought it was kind of cute. So you'll see I've set up the 3 columns for January, February, and March, and each row represents a specific habit. Continue to decorate with some stickers and sparkles. The bottom half will have a couple lists that I want to track. I actually just realized that I didn't label one of the headers properly. It says this month's tasks, be quarter, but I'll just leave it. And then content ideas. I go back and forth with having a dedicated section to content ideas, but I always end up jotting things down in my phone, so I would rather just keep it in one place in my journal. Now onto the weekly spreads, where I'll be using Dutch doors, mostly because I didn't know how to decorate every page. As you'll see, that's why a lot of the decor is minimal and relying on the metallic colors. So I thought a Dutch door spread would be easy because I'll be cutting out the top half. So I actually took the test disco drawing that I had and I decided to rip it in half and use that as the decor because I'd already had it filled out, and I thought it'd be fun having one side be the top and then the other side be the bottom. And you'll see later that I actually ended up pasting it in wrong, so they both look like top halves of the ball. It's fine. I wish I realized that as I was doing it. To make the sparkles stand out, because I didn't really see the point in filling them in with the white gel pen, I traced out the outline with a black fine liner with one of my Pigma Micron pens. To finish it off, there's a couple washi tapes, and I stamped out a header on some craft paper and pasted that in. I really like the ripped effect because it adds a cool texture to the page, and so that came out really nice in my opinion. And then for each week, I'm actually only making 6 squares and then using my sparkle stencil to make purple sparkles, and that's where I'll write in the date. I intentionally left it undated because there's some days that I don't end up doing some daily planning, or like on the weekends I don't always do it. So I decided I'm just gonna fill in the date as I go in and do it, because I know I'll skip some days, and so that way I don't feel bad about skipping pre-planned out dates. For the other side of the decor, since I had some extra space, I decided to put a little January calendar using this number washi tape from Takti. And so I just cut it out according to the January calendar and then pasted that in on top of the disco ball. And yeah, you'll see that I pasted in what was supposed to be the bottom, also be the top. So both sides look pretty similar, which was not my intention, but I'd already pasted it in. I didn't want to go ahead and rip it out and start over, so I left it. And then I filled in the other weekly pages offline just because it would also be like 20 minutes of me making sparkles, and added a few washi tape here and there just to add a little flair. And that's pretty much it. So I have enough for 4 weeks, and the first day that I'll fill out will be January 6th, which is actually the end of this week that I am posting. And that's it. That's my January and quarterly setup. Let me know what you think. I think this turned out really pretty. I love how shiny and metallic everything is. And I think this is a really good high and low effort way to start the year out. So let me know in the comments what you think. Please go ahead and subscribe for more videos since I have a bunch of plans for the new year. So be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.